Yo, this is Good to Chill, and I want to talk about Jump Force. In a sense of just, looking at these videos that tells us why it fell off in the first place. But we already know the reason, like first glance. Netcode, characters, stories missed. But why we no longer have it on stores? Like on PSN and Microsoft, whatever. What happened to those? So we're gonna look at Rated M's video on the matter. So without further ado, let's get busy.
Jump Force was supposed to be a celebration of the most beloved anime and manga of all time. From Dragon Ball to JoJo's, from Yu-Gi-Oh! To Bleach, Jump Force included characters from classic series across Shonen Jump's history. But once it got into the hands of its fans, it ended up being a huge disappointment, and as time went on, things only got worse. So what happened to Jump Force? Before we get into it, subscribe if you haven't already. I talk about video games on this channel, whether it's reviewing them or looking back on them, so if that interests you, subscribe. Also, if you like variety gaming content, check out my second channel. The link is in the description.
That's cool, bro.
So
Let's
let's
get
first
into this.
explain what Jump Force is. Jump Force was an arena fighting game featuring characters from various manga that were featured in Shonen Jump. Some of the most popular being Dragon Ball,
One Piece!
Oh man. Um, I'm not sure y'all even know about this, but Kuriyama passed away recently, man. March 1st. Today is the 8th. We just now find out about this. Sad day to be a Dragon Ball fan, man. He brought everybody together, man. So this is, bro. I was crying after that, man. I had a short up on my YouTube. Everywhere on my social media was relevant. Um, I cried after that, man. I couldn't bear to like cry at the moment. It was delayed sadness, but this is not like a Dragon Ball video. I'll put that on my channel later on. Look out for that in the weekend. Um, let's continue.
Naruto. This game differs from your average 2D fighter in that the player is free to move around in
Man,
a
I haven't
3D
played
space.
Street Fighter in a
A lot
minute.
of other fighting games based on anime follow this format, such as the Ultimate Ninja Storm games. Fights are also 3v3 based in the vein of Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm gonna be honest, I had a lot of fun with this game. A bunch of my friends played it and we had a blast mixing different team compositions. Not only that, the game was super fast paced and really easy to get into. I really like Jump Force. With all of that out of the way, let's discuss the game's history. On June 10th of 2018, Bandai Namco released a trailer for a new Shonen Jump crossover game titled Jump Force. The hype should have been high since the last game that had these beloved
This is
anime
easy
characters
money.
duking it out was
Mind you, this is easy money. They're like the way the animation was going. There's no way this game could have failed. And then you gotta realize who were the ones who made the game. I think it was like the people who made Jump Force, but it had the new teams come in and just do this stuff. I'm not gonna lie, man. It's an anime arena fighter, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't gonna last long to be in the public eye. But it was niche enough to like have people play on there, play with your favorite characters or whatever. And it was truly an anime's fans' dream to like have a multiple animes like go against each other like it's Smash Bros. But not Smash Bros. If you know what I'm saying. So overall, this is promising, but it didn't fully deliver.
released back in 2014 exclusively on the PS3, 4, and Vita. This game, however, was set for a multi-platform release on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Although Jump Force should have had a lot of hype upon its reveal, it actually ended up with a lot of distaste from its audience. The biggest problem people had were the graphics. The game kept these characters in their anime appearances, but put them in an art style that was far from anime. It gave this weird, uncanny valley effect that was super uncomfortable to look at. But most people chalked it up to the game being a work in progress, so it wasn't all that bad. But then the game released, and it wasn't that bad, it was worse. The graphics were still horrendous to look at, and once players got a hold of the game for themselves to play, they got to see the true horrors that lie within. The first that I'll talk about is the story. Although story is
Before he gets into the story, I had no problem with the realistic, artistic presentation of Jump Force. I thought it was pretty eye candy, to say the least. Like the moment I see Frieza Goku, Naruto, and Luffy pulling up in Times Square, you gotta assume that it was gonna. It's obvious it was gonna be like a realistic standpoint going in. Cause come on, what else could have done? What else could have done? What else could they done? Do jumps, jump stars again? J stars again? Nah, come on. J Star was alright, but it wasn't like out of this world to me, you know. So I respect the risk that Bandai took to make um Jump Force, but yeah, like the fights were fun, but after the fact, after a while, it was anti us. So let's get into the story bits.
Fairly a big thing in fighting games. In Jump Force, the game makes you play through an hour-long introduction before being able to hop online. That should show you how prevalent the story was for this game. The writing for this game is just horrendous. With over 17 franchises incorporated into the game's roster, the writers somehow couldn't develop an interesting story. It was super repetitive, rarely gave fan-favorite characters the time of day.
To be real with you, whoever was the writer for this thing had to understand each and every character, like from the standpoint of their all respected mangas. So he couldn't do the job right. And how long the story was gonna go, it was gonna flesh out everybody. By playing this game, you should already have the idea of who these characters are, and they're already established characters. So the whoever wrote this, whoever teams of writers wrote this, was gonna have that kind of energy to spew out who all these characters are. Cause this is like on the assumption of the creators part. You know these characters. Why should we explain who they are? Come on now. I think the attitude they had going on with the story. And yeah, it was like gonna be like, oh, you gotta beat the big bad and blah blah blah. It's gonna be like that. Like we're not expecting masterful storytelling in a freaking anime real game, man. Come on now.
And just had nothing memorable about it. One aspect about the story that actually plays into the gameplay was the player's custom character. At the start of the game, you could create a character that's modeled after a certain fighting style, such as, the Dragon Ball characters or the One Piece characters. Over the course of the game, you could purchase abilities for this character, which allowed you to create a character that was far stronger than anyone in the roster. This bled into the game's multiplayer, which is the next aspect I'll discuss. The multiplayer was a lot. Balancing patches rarely came through, so it wasn't uncommon to fight the same few team compositions over and over again. This also meant that a lot of the roster was unviable. Combos were really simplistic due to the 2 attack buttons available and special moves being bound to a menu. You just spam buttons, use a special, maybe an assist. That was all you had to do to build your combos. Also, even though the game was released on the newest consoles of the time, the game tanked frames due to the insane particle effects caused by the special moves. Overall, the game had plenty of issues, and in 2021, Bandai Namco announced that the servers will be shutting down in the following year. While the small yet passionate fanbase was upset with this news, even worse news arrived when it was announced that the game and its DLC would be completely delisted from digital stores. A lot of people think this is due to the game not doing well, which isn't entirely true.
I mean, that's like that's the bad part about like trying to get games in this era of gaming is that you can't be able to have all the things you want. And one of the things I like about like having the bundle editions, the ultimate editions of games is that you will have everything you need. And you can just play on your own. Like let's say that you still want to play Jump Force, but you can't play online, but you really want to like the game because you like the characters in the game for the sake of fun. Yeah, have the ultimate edition, have everything you need. Bing bang boom, got it. If people want to pull up as friends to play games with each other, close like in close proximity to each other in their own home, good. That's the classic gameplay right there. Because back in the day, we'd be going to our friend's house playing the game. I played jumping with my friends like I think it was like 2019, man. Like that game was popping, dude. I'm going crazy with Asta, bro. Woo! Going crazy with Asta. But after a while, I was like, it started getting boring. The more you play it, and you just don't want to play it no more. Like for me, I'll play a game again. This gave like what a break of like 6 months to a year. I'll probably get back to it again, but You know, sometimes good things come to an end in the ways you never expected. Like from breaks. That happens a lot.
True. While researching this video, I learned that it was actually due to licensing issues. Yes, all the characters got their starts in Shonen Jump, but in today's age, these franchises are all owned by different companies. For example, JoJo's is actually owned by Warner Brothers. I bet you didn't know that one. So with this, plus the poor health of the game, I think Spike Chunsoft and Bandai Namco just chose not to renew the licenses for these characters, and thus tossed the game. While it does make sense, it's really annoying to have
Don't worry about the dog. That's not my dog, man. The
this
dog from
results in
outside,
keys
yeah.
for the game or even discs for the console versions having prices that are just way higher than they should be. But that's the end of the road for Jump Force. I'm not sure if they'll ever do another Shonen Jump crossover game, even though it doesn't make sense for them to see Jump Force's failure and automatically assume the fans don't want another game. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen because that's just how
Tragic.
game devs are.
Tragic, tragic, tragic. Tragic all around. Funny thing is, I still want to play Jump Force. I still want to play Jump Force after all the bad stuff that happened over the years because of it. Is that bad of me? To know that I will just enjoy trash games just because they have a little enjoyment to it. Does that make me an L consumer? Comment down below. I really appreciate it. So I'm me out. Now be safe, be easy, and be chilled.